Hello Wingmen, this is Tallymouse. Today we're going to take a look at the Pimax Crystal Super 50ppd Large Field of View VR headset. We'll go through unboxing, the basic setup, along with my subjective review while in both DCS and Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, using both an RTX 4090 and an RTX 5090 for comparison. In addition, quantitative measurements of horizontal FOV, vertical FOV, and binocular overlap will be examined using various tools. I'll also be discussing focal length, color space, Mura, and chromatic aberration, along with what I feel are the pros and cons of this headset. If you're interested, you'll find an affiliate link in the comments below. This can save you a pocketful of wonga if you decide to order the Super, in addition to helping out the channel. Fellow Wingmen, you may be shocked to discover that around 90% of the people watching this video are not subscribers. Hitting the subscribe button costs you nothing except for the painful exertion of a single click, but really helps me continue to make content that matters to you. So please go ahead and hit the subscribe button along with like if you're in the mood. This is going to be a long video, so please grab a cold one and remember to set your ejection seat to armed. As usual, being a Pimax headset, it comes well packaged with nothing inside the box permitted to bang around during transport. In case you were wondering, I reserved the Super during the announcement event during mid-April 2024 and paid the $999 pre-order during November 2024. The headset, once shipped, sat at customs clearance in eastern China for about 5 days, and once released, made it from Shanghai to Houston via the Cincinnati hub to my door in an astounding 17 hours. Clearly, the inspectors at DHL in Cincinnati realized that they had the choice between enforcing the president's 145% import taxes and then dealing with an angry mouse launching an air-to-ground standoff weapon at their facility, or just letting the package pass unhindered, and they chose the latter. As I pre-ordered early, the box came with the optional DMAS headphones. I still feel that a premium product such as this should come with the DMAS installed as standard, rather than the SMAS, but that's a small detail. The initial look of the Super gives you the impression that it's smaller than previous Pimax headsets. A nice touch was that the hand controllers came fully charged, so you can use them straight out of the box. Digging deep into the packaging, you'll find a box that contains all of the connection cables and adapters necessary to connect the Super to your PC. Also in the box was a 15mm face foam, in addition to the pre-installed 11mm face foam. I prefer the fit of the 15mm one, but the additional standoff can move your pupils away from the lenses and reduce your perceived field of view. For the testing in this video, I stayed with the 11mm foam, which I found comfortable. Something about the materials used or the newer design, something I cannot put my finger on quite yet, leads to the feeling that this is a much more robust product than the OG Crystal or the 8KX to that matter. Don't get me wrong, I don't think that the OG Crystal is flimsy, but everything about this, including the head strap and buttons, just feels more polished and mature. The face gasket is now magnetically attached instead of the former clip design, and the shape on a Northern European shaped face feels so much better with the 11mm foam than the previous design ever did. As with the OG Crystal, but not the Crystal Lite, the Super appears to have the option to attach the hand tracking module onto the base via a USB 3 port. The design of the back of the head strap is also a major improvement, as it forces you to wear it lower on the back of your skull, such that it immediately lifts the weight of the headset off your nose and cheeks, leading to significantly improved comfort. I find this to be more comfortable than my Reverb G2 or Quest 3 have ever been. Comparing the 50 ppd production version with the 57 ppd beta version shown at CES, it's clear that the 50 ppd lenses are larger than the 57 ppd version, in addition to the soft silicone face gasket being replaced with the hard magnetically attached gasket. The original eye relief feature of the beta headset has also been removed in addition to the forehead strap, in favour of face foams with differing thicknesses. From a tried and tested point of view, this system works very well. Setup is very straightforward. Firstly, I will replace the S-Mass earphones with the D-Mass earphones, pronounced Dumas in French. This involves removing the inner foam piece from inside of the head strap to expose the small screws that hold the earphones from the inside. Simply unscrew these and the S-Mass lift out. Ensuring that you've selected the correct D-Mass orientation with L for left or R for right, you can place the new earphones directly into the receptacle, noting that there's an orientation key located on the interface. Replacing the screw without over-tightening and reattaching the Velcro-backed foam completes the operation. Now moving on to the cabling located in the accessories box, we can see that we have a cable with a compound headset connection on one end, with a power injection interface and a DP and USB on the other end. Note that the headset connection aligns with the plane of the headset. I've removed the face gasket to make this operation easier. Located at the knee of the head strap is a cable guide on the inner surface that acts as a stress relief for the cable. The cable has a marker to show you where to start fitting the cable, leaving enough slack to insert the connector fully into the headset until the shoulder on the connector is completely flush with the body of the headset. The remaining cable can then be tied into the guides and fed out of the soft grommet coupling towards the back of the head strap. The face gasket then clicks easily back into place, noting that I did all of this with only one hand. On the other end of the 6-foot long cable is a DP connection and a USB 3 connection that are located about 1 foot away from a power injector. The power adapter comes with a variety of socket interfaces that simply click into place. The first time I started the headset, I got a red LED, which made my heart stop. However, installing the latest version of Pimax Play and rebooting my PC solved the issue immediately. Once detected, activation of the 14-day trial period is very simple. You basically select where you purchased your Super and enter the order number associated with it. After a short activation process, the headset serial number will be added to an activation whitelist for a period of 14 days. I also have an OG crystal, and a $399 discount on the remaining purchase amount is available. I contacted Pimax support and they sent me a link to a form that allowed me to enter my OG crystal serial number and the associated order number with that, and 2 days later they sent me a CD key to be used as a discount. I'll show you how this process works later in the video. The link to the form is located in the description below. Pimax have already stated that they are aware that the software algorithm driving the auto IPD determination isn't fabulously accurate right now, but will be fixed in an upcoming software update. For now, I'd suggest that you simply turn off auto IPD and enter the value manually if you know it. Now, one of the first things I wanted to look at that has been causing a lot of discussion on the red cords is the subject of Mura. Early reports from CES suggested that the Mura was terrible. To best understand what Mura is, think of the irregularities in brightness and color produced across the display of a VR headset due to the minor changes in properties from pixel to pixel. These inconsistencies create an uneven appearance when you move your head around, almost as though you have dirty lenses. At worst, the effect would look something like this. However, I came up to northern Canada for a reason, and that's because it's the whitest place I know. And if you're going to see bad Mura, it would be here, due to the consistency of the white landscape and the blue of the sky. However, I spent 30 minutes flying over this landscape and through clouds, and I did not see any noticeable Mura whatsoever. So well done, Pimax, for eliminating this issue that Vario themselves had with the XR4 using exactly the same panels. In real or virtual, which unfortunately does not show on the screen what I'm capturing on what I can completely see in my headset, I wanted to take a measurement of the vertical and horizontal FOV. If you're not familiar with the software, you can find the basic version as a workshop environment in SteamVR. The version I'm using here is the standalone paid version. Basically, you focus on the middle of the screen without moving your eyes, and you move the dots until they just wink out of your peripheral vision. You complete this for the vertical FOV, and then you move over to the horizontal FOV section and do the same with a pair of vertical lines. Note that I set my horizontal offset in Pimax Play to -2 for my left eye and +2 for my right eye to simulate the upcoming larger FOV feature in a future version of Pimax Play. The result was that I got 138 degrees horizontal and an astounding 110 degrees vertical. I also ran HMDQ to see what is actually being pushed to the headset from the PC, which showed a larger vertical value but a smaller horizontal value, indicating the possible effect of optics and distortion profile being used in the headset. At this point, I was getting excited, so I left the render resolution in Pimax Play on 100% and jumped into DCS, here on the ground in Syria. I set my quad view's companion settings as shown to account for the much larger horizontal FOV, and even then, being DCS, I am CPU bound, but achieving between 70 and 80 frames per second, even with all DCS settings on maximum or ultra with a 4090, and also this insane resolution. The eye tracking also appears to work flawlessly. In Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, Sim Update 2 Beta now boasts quad views, which, like DCS, takes advantage of the eye tracking, and this boosts the performance greatly, even when using visually appealing settings. You can see that the 4090 has to run at 70% resolution, whereas the 5090 can let you run at 100% resolution. Note that I feel that 30 frames per second is about as low as you can get away with in 2024 while still experiencing a smooth flight. I do have to comment at this point that the visuals are absolutely incredible. I've never seen a headset even remotely this clear over so much of the field of view, and I thought the OG Crystal was good. For example, jumping back into DCS, I like to use the Nevada test range as a test because, while sat in the cockpit, I can now see fine features of objects all the way to the base of the mountains in the far distance. Indeed, when I first put on the headset, it was all a bit blurry and I got upset, but before vomiting all over Reddit, I decided to put my reading glasses on and try again. I've never had to wear glasses in VR before now. My other VR headsets have a focal distance of at least 1 meter, and I only typically need my reading glasses for objects that are about 0.8 meters from my face, or less. Then I'm 2020 to infinity beyond that. This suggests to me that the focal distance of the Super is less than 0.8 meters, as simply wearing a pair of +1s brought everything into fierce focus. There is a minor amount of chromatic aberration out at the very periphery of the field of view, but it's more noticeable in menus where there is typically a strong contrast between the white lettering on a dark background. However, it isn't any worse than other headsets in this class. The displays are probably some of the brightest I've ever seen, adding to the sense of immersion, especially in sims. The OG Crystal used a 100% NTSC color space due to the panels being used, whereas I believe the BOE panels used in the Super use a DCI P3 color space. There is significant overlap between the two spaces, however, you will notice a difference. The colors in the Super may appear to be more washed out, but note how much brighter the scenes are. Also, the darks are somewhat in line with the OG Crystal due to the hardware implementation of more local dimming zones, giving an overall higher contrast ratio. One thing I'd have to say that I do not like is the fact that you can't actually turn the headset off without unplugging it. The screen has a timer to turn off, but that means that the microphone and earphones are still connected and default. This is very annoying when you want to use your computer for something else, as you have to remember that your default microphone and output sound device isn't what you think it is. Indeed, during the making of this review, I got caught up by this 5 or 6 times and found it highly frustrating. I got around this issue in the end by connecting the power supply to a smart plug so I can turn off the headset or back on again using my phone. However, this should have been an integrated button of some sort all along. That aside, this headset, I believe, is the best headset you can currently purchase for simming within PC VR, and that includes the professional grade ones that are at least twice the price of the Super. It's a natural upgrade from the OG Crystal, which also had integrated eye tracking, whereas the Crystal Lite never had. On that note, I mentioned the CD key before that Pimax provided as a discount for me being a current OG Crystal owner. This is how the Prime payment method works. Clicking on the Buy Now button in Pimax Play, you're presented with 2 options. You can pay off the headset with a 24-month payment plan, after which the headset is fully unlocked and yours. Or you can save 12% by making a one-off payment upon which the headset gets unlocked, and that's the last you need to think about, Prime. I went with the one-time payment as I'm happy with my Super and just wanted to purchase it. So after filling in my information, I clicked Purchase with CD key and entered the CD key that Pimax support provided me. After that, I filled in my payment information, and that was it. The headset serial number was taken off the Prime registry and is fully unlocked. Just like a car or a house, you cannot sell it if you still carry debt on it, because you don't own it. So if you wanted to go for the 24-month plan, you'd have to be aware that you'd need to contact support and pay off the remainder on the headset prior to selling the headset to somebody else. I will be creating detailed optimization guides for DCS and Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 for all modern Pimax headsets and GPUs over the coming weeks, so please remember to subscribe if you'd like to receive notifications when those videos publish. If you have any questions or comments, please remember to drop them in the comments section below. Until next time, wingmen.